myself.
You're better on Rival. We're live now. It'll take a few minutes for people to join up. Tom, can you post it in the group?
Yeah.
Yes, it's pretty much casual there.
We can use pretty cash here too.
I'll post it in the Kunwu group.
I'll share it later on Kunwu YouTube channel.
Who runs the Kunwu group? I just joined it and posted in there. Who is that?
I do. Like, there is nobody else except like me and all the social media things, and nobody else. Few admins. There's no structure or logic there. Like, if you're looking for it, no.
It seems like you guys have a little party going on in there. I just poked my head in to put a post up. You guys seem like you have a good time though.
It's a great group. I love that group.
It's I don't know if it's unique because I do not frequent all the other groups, but in a sense, we have a good base of maybe 100 people that interact daily, and it's become more of a tribe than a regular night group. I don't know, really. I'm not, except for Millie and Uvu, I don't do anything else. Like, even on my table, you send this to Anna, so
yes,
it's interesting. So I had this like on my table, looking at it, figuring out what it is.
It's crazy. It's hard to look at because it confuses your mind. It looks like a cartoon.
It's a cartoon. Like, so yes. In my household, we have Spydercos and we have Kunwus. Everything else is more or less a misfortunate event.
I'm going to introduce our guest. We are joined right now by Sergio from Kunwu Knives. He's coming to us live from Serbia. He's 7 hours ahead of me. He's 10 hours ahead of Tom. And thank you very much for making the time. It's been not very easy to schedule because you're a busy man. You're intercontinental, but we appreciate you being here.
It's not that I'm busy. I'm really reluctant to be on camera for some reason. Like, Lily was pushing me to do anything live on camera because I might say something that's not appropriate and that might cause some disturbances, not in the broader sense, but
right.
I am like forced introvert when it comes to interaction with people. So I do well when we talk face to face, but when you need to put me on camera, it's a disaster most of the time.
Very different from your peers. Most knife guys I know are.
No, I wouldn't say different. I'd say just I have more of a more visible diagnosis, because everybody in knife community is on a spectrum of the sorts, but mine is more obvious. So it's not an advantage of any kind, but it is what it is. Like, I like to interact with people, but when you put me on camera, I don't feel really comfortable doing that. So this is a first for me. I think if this like triggers something in my brain, I might start doing it on my own YouTube channel, interacting with customers, because there's so much. There's little things that you can talk about knives, like YouTubers got it covered. So as a maker, yes. What am I going to talk about? Like carbides, whatever. I applaud everybody that makes content on knives, because you have like 3 things to talk about and you're doing it for years. It's really an effort. Really.
There's a lot of content out there. Trying to be different from everyone else isn't so easy because there's so many different perspectives. So
yeah, I come from an era, if you remember, Not Fancy and like testing and Almar knives and people cutting shit up with cold steels, and then 10 years later you have guys just showing like different aspects of a knife and talking about things that in reality matter if you're like aesthetically attracted to an object, but that's about it. So whoever does whatever works for them, it's perfect. I don't have any like grievances with anybody.
Nothing Fancy got me into Spyderco. Nothing Fancy 14, 15 years ago, 2011-ish, got me into knives, like reignited my spark. And now YouTube's a different landscape. I don't even know what Nothing Fancy does anymore, but I
know he was like closely connected to Jeff Loffer a decade ago and more. So the first time I ordered a Spyderco from Jeff. And as you know, geography is intricate with people outside of Europe, or basically it's really tricky to find Serbia on a map, and Jeff managed to do it, and he set up a system that made available for me to get my first Spyderco. So there's like a little tiny connection there that's really really romantic in a sense. So yeah, that was a different time. Like
I know he really enjoyed his content. Jeff enjoyed his content and wanted to support him, and he knew that if he had more knives to show, then he would create more content, and that would make his channel grow, and it would help the knife community.
At that time, you didn't have that many knives to show. Actually, you had Almar, you had Sog. Like Sog Kiku was my first high-end knife. It was crazy, like VG10 to 2007-8, super expensive. In my country at that time, a price for a decent knife like Sog Kiku was an entire paycheck. Like you really needed to to stick it and get that knife. So Sog Kiku was my first thing that I got, and then afterwards, when I started working on cruise ships, I got me several things that were more like, at that time, American made was literally like something that was truly only thing that was available apart from European things that you can get. Like Chinese started 2012, 2011 with what's its name? The steel something, real steel, etc. SRM, and then you had like the biggest boom was with GearBest. If you remember that website that just pushed out everything, SRM, blah 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 blah, and that's when everything sparked and the entire like industry changed from that point. So for me, nothing fancy. Cutlery Chopet was the initial stage of collecting. Afterwards, everything like after that, I got into knives by doing wholesale in China, and after that, it's a long story. But I am in this industry for a long time behind the curtains. It's a funny thing that I'm now being a face of a Kunwu company. It was never intended to be like this. It's I don't know, series of misfortunate events. Let's call it like that.
Did you draw a short straw? Is that how it happened? I wonder how you ended up being the face of it.
Yeah, I think I started being a face of Kunwu when Anna became more out there, and there were certain issues where she couldn't or wouldn't handle certain situations, so I had to step up and see that there is a connection between me and Anna and Kunwu and this and that, and then it spawned from there. I really have no control over what's happening, what's going to happen, or how I came to be in this situation or in this industry at all. So it's just kismet. Let's call it like that.
If you're not sure what we're talking about at home, Sergio's other half is also in the knife community and an influencer, and she owns a company called Hank's Cartel. So her name is Anna. You might know her as Countess Anne on Instagram. She has a very exciting and thrilling line of Hanks, right, Tom?
I am curious, Sergio, how much input on the Hank designs you have?
I have zero input on anything that's happening in my life. So let alone anything that Anna does. Go to China, come home, go to China, come home. So there's like zero influence I have on anything that she does, actually. So I'm pushing her toward.
Has carved her own niche of the Hank market very specifically. Is usually her Hanks I can identify without the label on them. I can usually pick out a Hank's Cartel Hank.
Yeah, that's the vibe that we have in our house. Like a bit of we love things that are a bit more obscure. So I just think that reflects on whatever she designs for her Hanks.
Who this?
I don't feel comfortable showing any. Yeah, that one.
Even South has that Hank, I think. It's a long story. We are not doing pocket checks like in this stream. We are not like showing what we're carrying today. Or
I'd like to take credit for Anna being on the Hanks. That was actually my idea. One day I told her, I said, you should be on the Hank. She was and I sent her a picture. She was holding like a glass of bourbon and smoke was rolling out of her mouth. And I said, that goes on a Hank, and she did it.
That was a terrible idea.
It seems popular. She's got her fans.
That's a terrible idea, but it worked.
Well,
so
what do you have today, Sergio? If you want to bust something out, you sounded like you wanted to get something out and do a pocket check. Is that what you're saying?
No, I just don't know how this works because I came ill prepared. So I have a lot of things like.
Our preparation was our group text message, that's how much preparation we've done for that.
Oh, okay. So I can relax because. Oh.
We're just three friends having a knife conversation. That's all. We'll probably ask you about your thoughts on Atlanta and how Blade Show went and things like that. But that's what I'm carrying today.
But we got a request for pocket check. So if you
I remember that
one. Show off, you can show it off.
Tom, what are you carrying?
I got Freydon pair 3.
Oh,
very nice.
Marble carbon fiber, LMAX.
Very expected. Okay.
This will be a surprise. Oh,
no. My favorite one, for some reason.
Pumpkin Shaman.
So, yeah, Blade Show was good because, in a sense, it got me connected to the people that I have no contact with, people that buy our knives, and you get to see a lot of positivity there because you know how social media is. It's loud, and it's mostly 50 like assholes doing all the like noise, and you expect things to be more of an adverse nature, but actually it's actually pretty friendly. It's stalling. It's nonstop talking with everybody, which is good. You want to be in that situation. If you're sitting alone on a chair, that's bad for you. So
yeah,
I met a lot of interesting folks that wanted to know more about what we do, how we do it, and then I met a lot of like guys that want to design stuff and that have like really twisted view of how this works. Because one thing that this type of manufacturing, especially OEM manufacturing, made people think is that knives just appear out of nowhere and they just present your design and then it's done, it's printed and it's
right.
out there. And I get a lot of those folks. I like the enthusiasm of it, but it was overwhelming from that perspective. Everybody else was friendly, more than I expected. Actually, I expected it to be more like
arrogant,
strangling. Like, for me, it was perfect. That's why we decided to come back again next year. Maybe do the Texas and Salt Lake as well, because this is not a large community by any margin. Like, everybody's talking Blade Show is the huge event. It is, but statistically, when you talk about numbers of people that are coming in, you're super small community.
Yeah, it's not baseball cards. It's not.
It's a niche business.
Yes,
especially for smaller makers and smaller companies. It's super niche. Then you get to see the people that are waiting outside for 3 days to get something. Like, I have to tip my hat to Oz Machine Company. The thing, the hype they're creating is something else. Like, that's where you want to be,
right,
in this business. So people waiting for special editions, this and that. It's really you get to see the fanaticism of it, and then you see the quality. Then you see the small makers, and you see the guys that are working in their shops, in their small towns, and you get to see everything there. Like, one thing that's concerning for me when it boils down, that people are no longer differentiating between makers, designers, and people that do things with their hands and people that just stand designs, or people just draw designs on napkins and this, and that's a concerning thing for me. Yeah, it's a hypocritical thing because sometimes I benefit from it. But again, there is a huge issue with this community because people no longer, like, especially people that are collecting for the last 3 or 4 years, they have no idea that designing and doing things in this way, like OEMing and making things by hand, it's on the equal level. It shouldn't be like that. So that's what.
I wonder what your thoughts are on something that just came in my head. Here in America, I feel like Americans are very susceptible to marketing. We actually seek out brands that represent us, right? We identify ourselves as in a certain way, and then we look for brands that sort of echo what we believe we are. So we're very open-minded to marketing in that way. And I think that's when you come across somebody who's really good at hyping and marketing, that's not necessarily a knife designer, not necessarily a knife maker, they don't know anything about anything, they're just ordering a product from a middleman and to fill their brand, Does that
It-
happen in Europe to the same degree, or is that American?
No? But you have to give credit, like people like Kunwu Knives. There's effort there. Like he does use OEM, but there's huge amount of effort in his design, marketing, and everything else.
Yeah.
Then you have folks that benefit from the veteran stories, veteran operated companies, and usually some of them are, but some of them are like false flagging everything. And then you have guys that just send in something drawn on a piece of paper. That's like a bottom feeder type of and that gets approved as well. So there should be a standard where you can get your knife made. There should be a minimum effort required for you to actually get things done, and that's no longer existent. And it will not change anytime soon, because the ease of getting your product done is getting more and more available across the platforms. It's not bad in the sense that you got a group of guys, you get a group of your friends, and everybody gets to experience what you want in a knife. But is it really? Like if you look at all the reviews and everybody bitching about small details, and then you get a design that looks like a piece of shit. Now, where is your credentials? Where are your credentials? Where is everything that you were talking about, this and that in other makers, other companies, and then you get to present this, and there's certain disconnect in this community at this point in time. I'm sure it will clear itself out at some point, because this is a natural, like a bubble of the industry where we were apexing right now, and it needs to clear itself out. So you need to have like a distinctive factor that makes you different from everybody else. Null has its own language.
So in your opinion, there's probably too many options.
It's a good and a bad thing at the same time.
Yes.
What I'm worried about in the next like 10 years, you'll be able to 3D print your knife. That's what's coming, I think. And then brands that stick around, that have something to offer, they will stick around. Everybody else will die off. So again, same like when AI was introduced, everybody was fearing. You can use it to your benefit, or you can dread it.
Yes.
So let's see where this goes. Like, this is a hobby, should be fun, but at the same time, hey, there should be certain standards that you need to adhere to make this good and to make this last, etc., etc. So it's a lot of noise out there. Like, I remember times when you couldn't get so many things, and there are good things. Like every knife that comes, it's a good knife. It's not a bad product. You're not getting scammed. You're not getting ripped. But something is missing here. Like, most definitely. Even like I took a look like last week, what's out there, because I'm buying knives. That I'm interested in things. I'm not just drawing things, making them in China and blah blah blah. I buy certain brands that I like to this day, like Benchmade being one of them. I know it's a sin, but this is my all-time favorite knife.
Beautiful.
I know, I understand why this might be an issue. Like, Benchmade as a company made certain moves that made a lot of people upset, but at the same time, if you look at the history of the brand, if you look what Les was doing 40 years ago, then there is some DNA there that cannot be disproved.
There's no denying they're a successful brand. They sell a crap load of knives. People that buy them love them. They have a devoted fan base. They make a quality product. There's
innovation there. If you look at the history, there is a certain figure that started it all. There is a lot of history there. There is certain attraction to it still, even if they have pricing that doesn't justify like a narrows $500 for basically nothing. But some of us are buying those things still out of emotion for the times past.
So Benchmade is in my town. Benchmade is here in Portland. And if you ask an average person what a good knife is in Portland, 95% of people will say Benchmade. Even if they're not a knife person, everyone will say Benchmade that's the gold standard. That's the best knife.
Yeah.
It's made in Oregon, and it's the most expensive one made in Oregon, so it's the best one. And so
that's good marketing coupled with good DNA. That's just it. Like, even Spyderco's, like, if you're talking production knives, they're surpassed by the quality that you can get for roughly the same price, right? But you can forgive Spyderco a lot of things that you wouldn't forgive any other brand. You understand? Like, if it's off-centered, if I get an off-centered knife sent to somebody Like, it's not easy being Chinese. If I get off-centered knife sent to somebody, it's going to be an issue. If you get an off-centered Spyderco, and it's expected. Like, most of the times, it's expected. You're not going to make a big mess. That's good DNA. That's what you want to get. You cannot compromise quality in every aspect, but then again, certain things are to be forgiven to the people that are doing this. So it's always like, Chinese manufacturing, especially Kunwu, needs to be held to a higher standard to compete in the same market, and that's, to a point, not fair, but makes you push more. Like, it makes you do things even better. If you're lagging, you're gonna get chewed up. A lot of new companies coming, people are doing amazing things, and you need to stay on top of everything. And then you need to battle the stigma of being manufactured in a certain place where pretty much everything else is manufactured, and that's the battle that you need to, like, conquer mentally first, and then create a community, behave as you want to behave, and then have your product back everything that you do. I adore Benchmade. I adore Spydercos. I recently got into that's like a bad thing. Cruise stream knives. I had a Zan. I understood the simplicity of it. Like, you can bitch about everything, the pricing, but there is certain DNA, there is story behind it, there is innovation, there is this, there is that, and blah 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 blah. And that's what we need more in this community, like pride of manufacturing, pride of ownership, etc. That's my main battle with Kunwu. Like, make the product speak for itself. But
I think I tend to get a little worn out from the conversation around the for the money conversation and for the price.
That's an American thing.
It wears me out. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm not interested in the most sensible solution for the dollar all the time, right? It's going to lead me to a boring night.
That's a dollar store way of thinking, but we're all taught to save a buck or two and get more value out of things that we buy. But then you get to a certain bracket, certain price point with nothing makes sense. Like, even watches or knives, and then you're paying premium for something. And most people that come into hobby don't understand what that premium actually is. It's never materials. Like, it's never the construction. It's always the name or scarcity of it. Or that's, if you can get the maximum dollar for your product, then good for you.
I think a lot of times we forget about experience. The experience of using this knife is a very different experience than using a Pulsar. It's not the same knife. They both cut.
No.
It's fine, but they're different in the hand. They're different in the pocket. You know what I mean? And I think when people get hung up on price so much, and they get snooty about price, and they go, well, you can get a better knife for less money. Like, okay, but is it even close to the same thing? Probably not.
Doesn't really matter. Like, even in watches, you're paying premium for cost specifications. Like, you're chasing that 1% of being better than the next movement or the next brand, and that takes an effort in a sense. And then you live off your name, and that takes time. It's a constant battle to figure things out, how to stay relevant, and how to get, like, to the point where you can relax a little bit and then just let the nature take its course. So, like, even with Oz Machine Company, I understand. I held an Excel Rosie and I loved it. Like, would I pay that price? Depends. If I'm a collector, yes. I'm not going to look at those numbers and think that that's insane, because I have a collection that I'm building, and I'm going to get into that hype. That's not a hype. That's just a state of collector's mind. Hype is I think misunderstood in this community as being like, you need to get a popular product and show off to your friends on Instagram, blah 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 blah. When you're a collector, most of the times you pay premium because you need to fulfill that OCD that you have in your collection that's missing. Like, and that's why you need to buy it. Does it make sense? No. It doesn't. No. And there's a lot, like, people that are fresh into this. They see it for what it is, but the collector sees it differently, in a sense that, premium is a very unexplored territory for knives, which are basically tools. And why would you pay like $10,000 for a Microtech custom Marfione thing? That's
I'm
when
good.
it's done in the same machines as your Borka. Like, hey, who knows? Like, it doesn't make sense. Anything in this business, the more like I thought I was getting smarter and smarter, the more I'm involved in all of this, and the more I get experience, the margin of my knowledge is like I question things even more now. Like the certainty of it all just gets diminished by the minute I'm in this or any community for that matter. Collectors communities are insane. There's no rhyme or reason here.
Where we're jumping, in my opinion, we're jumping around a lot. Like the user of a knife is very different than a collector.
You have those people. You have those people as well. Like when you talk about user experience and you talk about different steels and why is Kunwu using S390 or why are we targeting higher hardness steels, blah blah blah. It's not marketing for the most part. It's me experiencing knives from makers from Ukraine. Like S390 was the first knife I saw in S390 was from a Ukrainian maker. I cannot remember it. I experienced it. I liked it. There's no like extensive research or why tungsten makes this steel so much better than anything else. It was my personal experience with the knife that I wanted to replicate, and we did that.
Yeah,
and now you can back a lot of those decisions by science data or whatever. You can look at the charts. You can go on Bol or Udo Holm's website, look at the charts, say, oh, there's a W 10.4. That's interesting. It is. But most of the times, like knife making, especially heat treating, is more connected to cooking. Like if you get a perfect Wagyu steak to a guy and you give it to another guy, it's the same steak. One guy will make you the most beautiful steak you had in your life. The other will fuck it up. So it's in nuances, even the temperatures, like adding salt, adding this, temperatures play a key role in that. So in my mind, that's more connected to cooking and the art of making something more palatable. You can back that by science, and then you can go into user experience and cutting 10,000 feet of rope. Now, the answer lies between those two things. Aesthetically pleasing, high performance. If you go to high performance, most of the things look like shit. If you look at aesthetic pleasing things, you get abalone. You want to be in the middle. Like, make a good knife, have all the specs covered, test your things before you send them out, because there is always a guy with a poking thing, like, that's going to test everything that you do, especially when you're scrutinized every single time you come up with a model. Make everybody happy. That's it.
Right.
The story changes when it comes to custom knife makers, because there is a whole different territory where they can play with heat treats even further. Like if I do a heat treat of S390, I know what I need to do. Buy the spec sheet. Things change. Like if we see what's going on there, what's suitable for production, if we do 2,000 blades, we need to change a few things to make the optimum amount of blades just right. If you do 2 or 3 blades, things change. You can experiment with salt baths. You can like blow your house up doing heat treats. So there's always like production knives are very different role than custom heat treats. Like I have most amount of respect for people that pull like the best out of any steel they get. That 2-3 coupons, heat treat, blah blah. Sean Houston, K Knives guy from Switzerland. Amazing things we can learn from that, but we cannot replicate it in a sense that those custom heat treats are custom heat treats for a reason. We can get close to it, but never the same. Even if you remember, like you've been collecting Spyderco for God knows how many years. You remember 2017 Maximet?
Yes.
I know that Tom sent his thing to Sean to have it reheat treated because there is a lot of retained austenite. That's what happens with us as well. Like if we get there,
you see where he punched it 5 times right there.
Yeah, but the first series, I used every single sharpening stone and method known to man to get the apex, and the burr I couldn't get it.
Yes,
and that's what happens if you introduce something, a novelty, a new steel. Those things happen. Like it's not. I blame that History Channel's TV show, like Forged and Fired. People think, oh, put it in an oven, put it in the water. That's it. That's the heat treat part of everything. It's so much more than that.
Yes.
Like this is art. The heat treatment is art in itself. I'm gonna smoke one more.
this example to me is, like you said, this was 2017 when Maxima came out.
Yeah.
I didn't really hear people talking about how shitty this steel was to sharpen in 2017, because I don't think people really.
2 years later.
Yeah, like for a long time, like no one even talked about it. Then people would say, "Oh, it's hard to sharpen," but no one would give details. Like I thought I was crazy when I was trying to sharpen this native until Sean came over here.
Everybody was shy because it was novelty. Same thing with S10, S10V, S110V, something. Yes. Like that's the same thing. Everybody was complaining, oh, it's shipping, it's this and that. Like every time you introduce something new, you need to get your recipe right. And it takes time for that. It takes, especially in production setting, it takes a stupid amount of time for that single thing that people mention for 2 seconds. Like that's it. It's crazy the amount, like when I think about custom knife makers, the amount of work that goes in a single knife, like, and you're complaining that it costs $1,000, $2,000. If you like divide that, the amount of man hours that somebody put in a custom knife to make it right, boils down that same person could make more money working in Starbucks. if it's a one-off. So this is like, if you're going into custom knives, into custom heat treats, first couple of years going to be misery. Like it doesn't make much sense because these things are like regarded as super simple things that need to perform a certain task of cutting things. That's it. But the amount of labor that goes into everything here is staggering.
Yes.
For a simple product.
Well, I think it's interesting, like Brian Brown, he doesn't make a ton of custom knives. Like he makes custom knives and he invests his whole self into one knife at a time while he's busting stuff out. And it's a lot of work. Like me in my head, I'm like, if I was a custom knife maker, I'd want to do as big a batch as I could. But like watching Brian, he does just like, I don't know how he makes it work like that.
Community, but if he got to live off just from his custom knives, okay, he has a reputation, he could pull it off, but there's no way to make a living with just being a custom knife maker that makes one-offs and starting in this day and age, because people are used to quality that surpasses the quality that you can get as a custom knife maker at the initial stage, no matter the man hours you're putting in. Like,
yeah,
it's great. Even that you can make an argument about small batch makers in US that charge $600-$700 for their knives if they're working alone on their CNCs. Calculate all those hours, see how much effort it takes to make one knife perfect. So it's fun industry. It's scrutinized all the time. It's insane how much idiocracy there is in this industry. It's
not just like the labor and the effort. It's like you have machines that are unobtainable for most people, I'm sure, in your factory, most completely unattainable to start a business to make knives unless you have that investment up front and you really dump a lot of money into your equipment and all those costs that have to get spread out for years among all your product.
Absolutely. And you can fuck it up in a month. All it takes, like a bad not a bad review, all it takes 2 persons. It's a yelping thing. Like everybody's a yelper in that community. Oh, he was bad. He was rude to me. Oh, blah, blah, blah. He said me this. Listen, you have options. You can get your money back. You have options to buy other knives. You do not need to like be super emotional about every knife purchase you get. I've been following like on Reddit with several US-based makers, and you have issues with your customers or single customer, and they go on a killing spree of bashing their whole entire reputation based on a certain emotional response at the moment. And then, like, okay, you have examples like, everybody, you remember this guy? He had craziest grinds. That's actually the start of modern folders. Is Kami Designs, American Kami. He was the first guy that worked with Boker, 2011. He started making his own custom knives, got hooked on Coke, hookers, Coke, whatever, took money up front, disappeared, and a lot of people got scammed for it. There are examples like that, but there are like a lot of examples where people just go on personal vendetta for no reason. Like that's one of the perils, again, of being a maker, because you need to be Like I'm not doing it. I'm being polite to the people that are supporting Kunwu. Like my customers get the treatment. My return customers get the extra treatment. If somebody's being pissy, it's much easier for me to focus on my good customers and return the money to the pissy customer for whatever reason there is, and just not push them back. You have options. You can get your money back. You can get your knife stand to whatever. We do not need to get into this emotional roller coaster of drama, and that's it. And the community is funny like that, because everybody's looking your response to something. Like you need to be a servant of the people all the time. Like you need to bend your back all the time, and it's getting frustrating because this should take a bit of testosterone. Like this community needs a bit of this testosterone to work. They're all bending backs all the time. Of course, if you fuck something up, admit it, make good with your customer, and that's it. But 60% of things that I see online have nothing to do with knives and everything to do with like elevated levels of hormones. That's it.
You mentioned how easy it is to crash a brand, or crash like in a month's time you can ruin things. And
you can
the
ruin
example
it.
that I remember now is about 10 years ago, ZT tried a new steel that they had never used before, and they did one batch with the steel, and some cracks generated around the thumb studs.
Yeah, it's just not just the thumb studs, on the stop pin as well.
Stop pin and the thumb studs. So they developed some cracks, right? So they abandoned that steel. But to this day, if you see anybody have a problem with one of those knives, the first question is always, which steel is it? And then when you tell them it's not the steel that they were hoping it would be, they get disappointed. But it's funny that 10 years down the road, like they still have this ironclad memory around that steel being bad, and everybody's just waiting. We all wait with bated breath so we can point it out. Like, oh, there's that failure point. You know,
yeah,
it's really weird how we obsess on that stuff. We don't let it go.
I don't sleep. If I like, Kunwu is a team effort. Like it's not just me bullshitting with steels. I need to communicate with Lily. We need to test things out. But every time I put something new out, for the first 2 months, I have zero sleep. Like I'm not, it's not. Yeah, Padre. I have it somewhere. Like maybe no Padre here. I have zero sleep when it comes to introducing anything new. Like even with this lock now, people are going to scrutinize it and look why there is no compression, or is there compression between the stop pin and the lock face and the blah blah blah. This is going to be a hot topic for 2 months.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about the Verta lock.
What do you want? For me,
previously known as the finger fuck confession lock.
Lock.
We're going to call it the Verta lock. I like it.
I do not like to use liner locks or frame locks in my knives at all. Like for me, the first thing when we started this 6 years ago was to develop at least or mimic something that makes sense. Like frame locks, excellent mechanism. I don't like it. I don't like to use it that much. Makes sense for people, but from an engineering standpoint, if you need to put a piece of flesh underneath the falling blade to shut it off, and I dread every time when I see a dude like stopping the blade with his thumb. So for me, the mission was always to make something that's not a frame lock or a liner lock.
Right.
And we started with an axis lock. Taking something straight and copying it is not thing that you want to put out there for the sake of pride. Like that, yeah. We did some changes there as well, but it's basically axis. That was our first engineering mission, to make it a bit different, to have some pride of producing it. With the confession, finger fuck, scoliosis, fucking lock. The goal there was, like, I started with this. This is the baseline. This is the point. Right. This is the origin. There is no denying it. There is nothing exceptionally new about finger fuck, compression, scoliosis, lock, Verta lock. This is the starting point. But just taking it straight and copying it and making it a compression lock that acts as any compression lock would be dishonorable, in a sense. You need to make like credits to the originating factor, which is a compression lock, but you need to not improve it, make it different. In a sense that you can make, it's not an IP thing. Like, you know that IP protection passed, and then everything else is just more or less easy to do. Certain tolerances there in a regular compression lock make it's difficult to replicate in a sense.
Right.
But there is a way. We have tight tolerances. We can make a compression lock, but there is a way to modify that, make it a bit more compression-y, because if you're going to do a compression lock in a standard that we need to come up with, so I need to avoid the lock stick. Lock stick would murder entire series of Kunwus. Like, if I get a lock stick, that's it. So what I need to do, if I just straight copy the compression lock, I need to make a stop pin that's 62 HRC in most steels that I use. Like, if I make an S390 and I put a 440C stop pin that is 58, 56, there's no way I'm getting away with it. It's gonna lock stick. And even if I explain to people that most lock sticks on any Spyderco disappears after 200 to 300 openings, I cannot explain it to my customers. Say, oh, take your Ringo, open it 300 times. That's it. There's no way, because people will open it for 2 times, say, it is a lock stick here. I need to call customer service. No way for me. So first and foremost, our mission was to avoid lock stick, and that was mitigated by using 2 stop pins that do not compress the tang of the thing. There's no compression here. Like, people are saying there's compression. Compression means material squished between another material. There's nothing happening there. Took us 2 years to figure out how to do it. Did it. No lock stick. We still harden our stop ends to a higher degree, because it's meant to be used with S390. It's meant to be used with Vanalis 4, Vanalis 8, Vinecron, whatever. So heat treating of the parts that interact is still there, but also it's more serviceable than your regular compression lock, because you need to even if like after 600 openings there's like 20% of wear or so, but it stays there. So it's a system that mimics the compression lock, but it operates in a different way. Like, for me, this is all that I want in a knife.
I was able to handle it at Blade Show, and I thought it was amazing. The only thing that was similar to a compression lock is that it's on the spine. But beyond that, it wasn't the same mechanism. It's not the same.
That's it. But the operational factor, people are like, oh, put a button, make it like a top button operated line lock. But for me, that thing looks like a regular button lock. Like, there's a button, you press it. Fucking ugly. So there's no way we're going to do it. As long as I'm in China and I have my like work visa and I can get to travel in China, nobody's going to put any fucking button on my knives. And that's it. I have smocks. I have several smocks here. I love them, but do I want to replicate that? No. Why? Because it doesn't make much sense. On a smock, it looks nice. There is a like difference in Spyderco lineup. You have smock, and it's different. Everybody else in China is going to start making those button-operated top liner locks, blah, 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 this and that. And what's the differentiating factor between Kunwu and everybody else? Kunwu is not going to put it there. There is no reason besides that I hate it.
You know what else the button does not do for you, Sergio? It doesn't mitigate the lock stick. You still have lock stick.
No, it doesn't mitigate anything. It looks ugly. Looks like, if you want to do, I'm into fancy things. I'm like getting into fancy things. I like Damascus. I like Damasteel. Oh, I like everything shiny now. I was utilitarian 2 years ago. If I didn't cut 600 times, no.
I thought you were going to name some cheeses and some caviar. Like you said, fancy things. I didn't know.
I like performance secondary. If it's shiny, yes. Like, and that's my thing for the last 6 months. So I want to be able to create perfect symmetry between the scales, where the button just gets in a way. And if you get the button sticking out of Damascus, it's gonna look like a bad remote. Even Damascus sucks. Like, let's face it. Like, it's a good material, but you need to be super careful with it. So I'm exploring other materials that mimic those shiny colors that we can incorporate and make a good looking. Not a
Sergio,
user.
I think that's about as much Damascus as you need on a knife.
I know.
I know you're going. Look, I know.
If
more of a good thing is more, but
I know. I understand. Like I've handled I've handled Denizen from our guy. I love it. Like it's utilitarian. It has certain lines. It looks. Bah. But for me, given the feedback I got from my people, which are basically crows that like shiny things,
Right.
I need to incorporate certain things that are against my taste initially. But as far as I know, tastes change. And that happened to me. I was against polished, mirror polished ZDP 189, and then I get to do a few blades, and then, oh, good. I like it. Then I went to Damastil booth on the blade show, and I was smitten. Like, oh, fuck. Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's shiny. Oh, look at it.
Yeah.
And then I made like a Damastil last December. I took some Damastil and I DLC'd it, and it looked amazing. Performance
wow.
non-existent. Like it's most RW34 PMC 27 things perform like a better heat-treated 14C 2810. Like there's no performance there. There's no
Correct.
benefit to it other than it looks pretty. So I had to battle that part of my persona. Like, it doesn't make sense because that's like Sandvik, but looks nicer. And I loved it. So I need to make a few things for myself or for the people that really appreciate the craftsmanship or shiny things. Again, yeah, like the shiny guy on the right, he likes shiny things. I need to cater to him as well. And he also likes smaller knives. He doesn't care like a big motherfuckers. He wants a smaller knife. So that's my focus as well, because I've realized, as obsessed as I was in the last 4 years with heat treatments and standards, procedures, not to fuck up anything, now we are lacking on the carryable knives department. So that means we need to push for some EDC size, like compadre things, like small. This is not small in Tom's size, but in Tom's terms, but something smaller that you can carry. And then we can embellish it with things and make it shiny and whatnot. So it's difficult because in Kunwu, we are not a big team. There's only two decision makers, Lily and me. And when you get to a point where you need to decide what to push in production and not to linger with surplus knives for the next year, because any surplus will actually demolish you, we need to see the statistics of what goes, what doesn't go. And every time you want to implement something new, steel-wise, finish-wise, it's difficult. So there's no big team. Every social media account is run by me. Everything logistic-wise is run by Lily and a few other people. When you come to assembly, we have 4 guys, and it's an effort. But at the same time, it works. But we often neglect certain aspects, like especially when it comes to EDC size knives. We neglect it. We forget that we can make things smaller and more carryable. So that's going to be a focus for next 2 years. Like make something that's lightweight, make something that's practical, at the same time blingy and beautiful. So we are going to get
I think you guys are very good about being responsive to your fans. Like the people who buy your knives tell you what they like, and then you make it. You guys are very responsive. I watch you adapt in the group, and you're always bringing things out to market. So here it is, and it's really exciting that you're doing that.
That's good, because oftentimes people make sense. Like if somebody suggests something, makes sense, but you get like 90% of people that suggest things that absolutely do not work. I have data what works. Like
at the end of the day, you're here to sell knives, right? And if the people who are buying them,
it's a passion thing. But at the same time, if you like, you need to try it. Like if you suggest something, if you think it's going to work, like if you're 100% sure, make a bet. Do it. Try to do it for yourself and see how it works. If it works, then you're right. But I have some certain data that just goes against certain opinions, and then it's hard to explain to a guy that you like, that's your customer, that's like more part of your community, that it's a good idea. I like it as well. But it's not going to work from the business side of things, because business side of things dictates a lot of things that you can or cannot do. Like many suggestions I declined because of the things that I know, like statistical things. It's not an emotional response, it's a statistical response. I cannot invest into things that I like, that guy likes, but like 90% of people like gray things. That's it. Like we drive gray cars, we live in gray houses, we are like really surprised that somebody has a graffiti on their wall and it's like, oh fuck, that's outlandish. But that's, most people like gray stuff. I like the fact that Kunwu is customizable, for example, that most of the things we can push more aesthetically pleasing things, but it's customizable. At the price point, you can get it to Eric Shepard CC or to Way of Knife, and they can customize it for you. And for $500, you have a really unique, good, well-performing knife.
Yep.
That's one of the things that if we're putting out, like for example, Gringo, I'll wonder if it's customizable. If it's customizable enough, it is good. Put it like that's also the big part of how we get our finishes out. If it's not customizable, like inlays now are a big problem with us, because it negates the customizable part and also it sucks ass to assemble. So the amount of time you put in to make a decent inlay, you lose another 3 knives. So mathematically it makes no sense.
I didn't understand what you said.
Like if you need to fit, we have a good team that really knows how to cater to assembling a good knife, having all the tolerances in track, blah blah blah. When it comes to adding an inlay in your production process, especially if the team is not trained to do inlays, it adds amount of time that you would spend to make another 2 blades. Like even that is an issue. Like every time you introduce something new, you need to account for the things that you lose down the line. And this is a business, so it's always like I didn't sleep for a month because of inlays that we did on coaches. And then paranoia caught up and I said, stop it, like stop everything. And Lily agreed and we stopped it. Like we need to figure it out. It's going to take another 10 days to figure things out, but people are going to get the perfect product on the expense of maybe 10 to 15 people being really mad about it. I understand the frustration. I'd be frustrated as well, but at the end of the day, I want you to have the good knife that you cannot complain about, and that I don't have to spend a half an hour pleasing you and talking to you about your emotional response, because that takes a toll on me as well, because I'd like to help you. I don't want to be in a shitty situation. Like nobody wants to be in a shitty situation. And that's really, really, really like crazy how many small details can fuck up an entire month. The worst thing I said last December is like, hey, let's make inlays. I would go back in time and shoot myself in the leg. Like I just go back and kneecap myself. Like that's the it doesn't make sense. But making an inlay in especially in a frame block, that's misery.
Hey Tom.
Yeah.
Do you think we could talk while Anna's out of the house? Do you think we can talk Sergio while Anna's out of the house? Can we talk Sergio into moving the clips on her PM2s so that they're tip up?
Oh, that's actually my thing. Like I do not like. Yeah, I do not like, because when Sal placed it on the tip side, like God intended, that's the thing that makes sense.
Why didn't he do it on all his other knives? Why only that knife? Because
he adhered to the cries of the community, and sometimes you do not need to do that, because this makes sense. If you're gonna put your hand in your pocket and this happens, you're gonna have a fucked up hand like this. From an anatomical perception of how much you can slice up your wrists and fuck up the rest of your life, makes sense. Everything else, not so much. I think when this came out, yeah, I know I have like.
But hold on a minute. Hold on. Wait, this one's tip up.
I have them as well.
This one's tip up.
Well, the pair of 3 comes tip up though.
Pair of 3 comes tip
up. I know, but you need to remember what came out first. The things that came out first make the most sense, because then.
So what made him change his mind on the pair of 3?
People.
I don't know if I've ever seen someone use any clip holes besides this and maybe some lefties, but I don't know if I've ever seen these.
I've never seen a tip down pair of 3, except
I've never seen a tip down pair of 3.
Maybe Sammy.
Ooh, maybe.
Like it's not that important, but if you're putting out the product initially to the masses, you want to make sure that somebody doesn't cut their finger off, and that's what's happened with paramilitary. Like, makes sense. Makes much more sense to put the clip.
So
yeah.
I will go with you on the military. It is a long knife, and when you pull it out of your pocket, your thumb is right next to the hole.
One of the reasons I absolutely don't like frame locks with this type of scenario, which I do, which is hypocritical, is that your tendons depend on a small ceramic ball.
I've never thought about it like that, but you're right.
Yeah, but you need to think about your guessing. People are smart. Like certain people are smart. There's always going to be a motherfucker that's going to cut himself up like a pig.
Well, here in America, we carry our pistols.
And in America, you get to sue people for that. In China, no.
Yeah.
But the motherfucker loses a camp, it's okay. In America, you got like piso mojado everywhere because there is a wet floor. In China, no. Like, nobody puts the wet floor signs.
Right.
If you fall down the stairs, that's your fault because you didn't see that the floor was wet. In America, you get like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sue that motherfucker for that. That was I think that's not the certainty, but I think that initially they put the clip in the position.
What I'm hearing from you is that you're going to leave the clips where they are because Sal said so.
Yeah, I respect that. Yeah, that's my point. I'm
not saying I know better than Sal.
You know what, Jason? I think I know what it is. Sergio is a little OCD and doesn't like the ghosted image. He doesn't like the ghosted G10 where the clip used to be. He's just
that bothers the hell out of me. But I'm left
also that
to suffer it every time.
And there is no like in Fuckwell where I live. If I screw something up, there is no warranty on anything. Knives, cars, forget about it. Like the concept of warranty is new to me. Like if we buy something and you're like warranty, what the fuck is the warranty? We just go and beat up the fucking guy that sold it to you. So that's it. But the concept of like you bitching about the product that you bought and like having rights as a customer is non-existent in the parts where I grew up. So, you need to mitigate those things before they happen.
I understand.
Most of the times.
Sergio, the comments are nothing but positive for you. Everybody's in love with your wonderful stories, and they're excited to know what you're drinking.
Listen,
I'm drinking a can of something.
It's Ožujsko beer, and I was born in Croatia. I come from a mixed family, so it's Croatians and Serbians having sex and procreating, unheard of in these parts.
It's a tale.
So I'm 50-50. Really. Yeah, I'm 50-50. So when I'm in Croatia, they call me Serbian guy. When I'm in Serbia, they call me look at this Croatian guy. Very confusing. So I'm drinking. This is a really, really, really good beer. Like Ožujsko, one of the best beers you can have. If you ever get to Croatian coastline, it's cheap, relatively, because nothing is cheap anymore, and it has a right kind of buzz. I'm a pussy when it comes to beer. Like everybody's suggesting, you need to drink IPAs and get poisoning from. I'm a pussy. I like my cocktails. I like my cervezas, like light. I like tequila. I like things that do not bother me. And that.
Hold on. You like tequila now? You're okay with tequila?
Wait. I have the thing that you sent me like last.
No, I didn't send it. I am not admitting on this live stream that I have ever sent you.
No contraband, nothing. No. So I like light things because I don't remember my 20s at all. Like when I met Anna, I thought Tom is like, hey. Me too. Like I was really heavy into drinking and everything else, and it's not like a story that I saved my life from being a drunk, but almost. So now I take it easy. Like I'm drinking now because there are a lot of protests in Serbia and the situation is terrible. So I need to take the edge off. Usually I don't drink as much as I did, and so Ožujsko works. It's similar to your Mexican beers, which I adore. It takes a slight buzz, just introduces you into the world of fuckery, takes you on an easy stroll into things that might happen, but you need to drink like 6 or 7 of them before anything happens. So before you start doing both like terrible shit, you're going to need to take a piss, and then when you take a piss, everything calms down and you start drinking again and blah blah blah. If you drink like if you drink Polish beer or Czech beer, 3 beers in, you're going to go into revolution and fuck things up. Like so, this is mild.
That's the thing I miss the least about drinking is how much I had to piss all the time. That That was annoying. It was really annoying. It really took me out of the moment. Just always having to pee nonstop.
Yeah. And for example, in China, they drink like fucking monsters. Like that's mostly, I think,
Really?
because they don't. Yeah, they don't have any quality drugs. Like nobody in their teens had like experiences with marijuana or whatever. So they drink like monsters in the 20s or 30s. In Yangjiang, if you go outside, like 11 o'clock in the evening, there's like good clubs and everybody's drunk.
Isn't alcohol poisoning common in that culture? In that, like
Yes.
genetically, they're
I think they are. No, they have a lot less tolerance than we do.
Right.
That's, I think, genetics, and but they are really heavy into alcohol and having a good time. I didn't drink for a couple of years, like since Corona days, maybe until last year. I didn't drink at all. I'm lying. I did,
Should
but
I send
not
Lily
as much.
some tequila?
Yeah, and then when I was in China, I didn't drink for first 2 years, and then I started drinking there again, and blah blah blah. But they're really heavy, like small people, motherfuckers, small motherfuckers, but capable.
You know, Sergio, we have a couple knives we were going to give away tonight. We were lucky enough to get some knives from GP Knives. They gave out one to
Good
Tom
guy.
and one to I to see and check out. They're an
So
exclusive.
listen, since this is like my maiden voyage on YouTube's, Kunwu can perhaps include something.
Should we also give away a Kunwu?
Why not? Like
We
maiden
have a list
voyage.
of winners, so we can just choose a third number, and we can do that.
Like we can do. What do you want to do?
Man,
can we do?
How about we do just this giveaway for these, but then we do another giveaway so we can get it out there and publicize it this week.
That's a good idea. That we can get pictures of it and everything.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Good man.
We'll do a giveaway for next weeks.
For tonight, we're giving away 2 of these Spyderco Urbans. They're in Rex 45 steel. They are DLC coated. These are made in Italy, Mangiato, Italy, I believe. And it is a slip lock. It is not a frame lock or a back lock or a finger fuck confession lock. Quite nice.
Maniago. It's Maniago.
Maniago. Nicer. It is Maniago.
Yep.
These are available currently on GP Knives for, I believe, is it $100 or $119?
No, $94.
$94.
Or under $100.
And honestly, an Urban was one of, not the first Spydercos I got, but it was one of the ones where I branched off early before I was like knew much about them. And I got one. I didn't even know what a slip joint was. And I honestly carried my K390 Urban quite a bit early on in my collecting days. It was a great knife.
I'm very impressed with this knife. I think they're excellent. It's very well made. The FRN is lovely. The bright white is also very stainable. So if you guys want to RIT dye these, you can change them colors. And there's some really cool RIT dye jobs out there that I've seen. So very cool knife. Tom, I've prepared the list. By prepared, I mean I have a list. There's 672 savages that have entered to win.
Nice.
And we're going to draw 2 random numbers, and then we're going to find them on the list. So let me bring up my random number generator. Present.
Good luck.
Share screen. We have a problem with people entering 2, 3, 4 times. So if anybody's entered more than once, you're not going to win. We're going to use the Price is Right rules. So it's closest to the number without going over. Okay, here we go. Here's our random number generator. We're going from 1 to 100,000 per the little thingy. So I'm going to hit the generate button, Tom.
Okay. Let's do it.
5372 is the first number.
5372.
And the second number is 96,738. Holy cow. All right, let's go. And now we'll go over here. Can you see the spreadsheet, or is it still showing the wrong screen?
Still showing the wrong screen.
Son of a diddly. Present.
Yeah.
Share screen. I'm good at this. There we go. There we go. There's our random number generator. So we're looking for 5372. So it looks like the highest we're not going over is going to be Brian Tidd. Brian Tidd's a big winner. Look at that.
And you know what? Brian Tidd is a pretty big fan of Kunwu, and I think he's watching this right now.
Yeah.
I know he's watching.
Yeah, he is definitely.
And now our last winner with the giant number. It's a strange choice. We'll see if anybody went that high. 96738. Wow. Looks like it's Mr. Matt Wallace.
Wait, no, 96. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Mr. Matt Wallace is a big winner. Looks like Matt Wallace says if he could get a Spyderco knife in white with black, he'd want a shaman. That would look pretty cool. We need a stormtrooper shaman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, there we go. We got Matt Wallace and Brian Tidd.
B-Man.
Sergio, you want to hear what kind of guy Brian is?
I know him. I know him well. Like,
first time I met him in person, he was at Blade Show. Brian brought a giant backpack with him, and inside the backpack, he had pint glasses made with the club logo lasered into the side of them.
He's a great guy.
Every friend that he had that made a knife, sold a knife, or showed a knife, and he gave them a glass, including Sal Glesser. And he walked around the whole show with that giant bag on his back and gave away all those.
He's a genuinely nice guy. I enjoy. Like he's in the group, and he's really a positive experience in interacting with people. Like I really like guys like him. There are not many, but he's invested. Like a truly nice guy.
Real gem.
Yeah. You want people like that. He's low-key present. He's not out there all the time, but he's the nice part of the community, the part that you want. Like you want to do like extra for that guy. You want to
women want him and men want to be him. That's just it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Brian,
very sexual.
There was a bunch of German North Korean conversation going on over here in the thread. You guys get bored, you can read that later. That was
good. So that's like German North Korean. That doesn't sound too
it's a strange conversation. I was trying to ignore it while we were talking about knives. So if you're watching the show, guys, if you're watching the show and you're currently not in the Kunwu Facebook group, you need to join. It's a hilarious group where everybody doesn't take it too seriously. They're passionate about their knives. They enjoy the camaraderie and the brotherhood. And the slogan of the group is "Bring forth the fuckery." It's the acronym is BFTF. So you'll probably see that.
Okay. I want to pretend like I was cool and I knew that, but I was just like, maybe someone will say it eventually.
It's like we have a guy that tattooed the BFTF. I'm gonna get my hand tattooed as well. The tattoo that BFTF, Chris Collins, great dude. Like he came up with the coin with that term like 2 years ago, and we just stuck with it. Like the group is a little bit gay. Like if you're too much like a person that's intimidated by the love for a fellow man, then good luck.
If you are insecure about your sexuality, you're not going to have fun.
Or if you want to discover your sexual preferences that you've been lagging behind for the last 40 years, then you can discover them in Kunwu group. Like if you're adamant on acknowledging that you really like the manliness of a hairy body, then you can get in. And if you don't like it, that's good as well. Then you can really say that you're attracted to the opposite sex. So it's a lot of self-discovery in the Kunwu group. Well.
By the end of it, you'll know.
Yeah,
you'll know.
Or you'll be even more confused, which is also great because road to self-discovery is a road to confusion. It's not road to answers. It's road to a lot of confusion. You're going to get more confused. Being confused is the best thing you can have. Like if you have all the answers, then it's game over. You can just die. Like if you're confused all the time, then the life is your peach. And I don't know. Kunwu group brings a lot of that confusion. We do a lot of customer service there as well, but the answers that you get from us in the group are more comedic than actually like professional. I know some people want to be professional all the time and want to have like that outlet where they can resolve their issues. We have emails for that. We have people that work in that department. They're always forthcoming. In the group, you're gonna get assisted, but you're gonna get like sodomized
You get teased a little
from time
too.
to time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Like after all, like this is a hobby for most people, and if you don't have fun with that, if you cannot connect with people on certain levels, then what's the point? Like it's a knife, you can cut stuff with it. I have a lot of customers that have zero presence online, and I respect that as well. But the people that put in effort to join the group, that's the essence of what this is. you can use a box cutter and soldier through life without like realizing what this actually is. It's more about people than it's about products. At some point, it's not always like even people like there are folks that want to have the conversation towards performance and tests and that we do that as well, but it's not going to be a group of people just slicing cardboard 24/7 just showing you metrics. You're going to see a lot of nuns, a lot of donkeys, a lot of sexualized women or men even. So the vibe is different. Like the vibe is welcoming, but if you're being an asshole, you're not going to
What's
enjoy
the
it.
group's policy on feet? Are they encouraged or
welcoming. Even like we like all sorts of feet. Like even if you have psoriasis or if you have crooked feet, if you have bunions, whatever, we're welcoming. We do not judge people based on the look of their feet. If it's a foot, you're welcome. Even no foot, whatever body part you want to show with your knife, it's okay. Except penis. We don't like penis because Mark doesn't like penis, but I don't know. Everything goes. Yet
Days on over.
It's okay. Like I entered this realm of interaction with my customers wanting to have fun, not wanting to be perceived as a guy that's super anal about things all the time and making ungodly statements about the importance of being super technical and super sciencey about things. So the vibe caught on. Like, but if you want to discuss pretty much everything, we got you covered. Like, if you are a steel nerd, yeah, sure, you can get inside. You can ask questions. We can talk about carbides, binite, perlite, whatever.
Austenite.
Or retain austenite as well. It's a motherfucker, but it's really important. Like, depending on the industry, that's the crucial part of everything. We can discuss everything, but mostly it's there to have you feel like a part of community. That's it. Whatever the community is, sometimes the community is overburdening. Like, hey, but that's it. That's what makes the blade show tick. That's what makes other people getting into this hobby.
Yeah,
that's it. Some people
I think for Tom and I, when we started the Millie Club, maybe a year or two in, we realized that if you just make it about knives, then it's possible to weather things like COVID, like the end of the world, like World War III, like presidential elections. You can have a place where we can go and we can have fun and we can talk about knives and we don't have to think about the serious things in life. Let's just talk about knives.
Absolutely. Like,
and we all need those kinds of things in our world.
You need to feel connected to the people you have shared interests with. Like,
right.
Hey, look at the BDSM like community. They get to have all the fucking fun. Like,
they get to have all the fun. Yeah,
they get all the fun. We get the knives.
Right.
No, they're in our group too. We don't exclude them. We don't exclude them from our group.
I've done many things in my life. I'm responsible for most of the websites in the American market that cater to people that are into BDSM. So that was my previous life. So I'm really forthcoming when it comes to building communities.
Maybe you can help Tom with his VR machine and his 4K.
Listen, you're going to damage your retina.
It's 8K. It's like I'm thinking about upgrading my Quest.
Catch up with his liver.
The higher resolution one, but yeah.
I don't know. Go out there, experience life. I don't know. Like I most of the groups. I mean, Millie's perfect. Like you get to see a lot of good guys, but there are certain type of people in our communities that just want to have their frustrations spill over any hobby they're into. Like everything has to be a political statement. Everything has to be a certain statement about masculinity. And oh, look at me. I'm the masculine type that cuts shit all the time, and you all have to abide by my rules. In Kunwu group and in Millie group as well, I think we take things a bit more relaxed. Oh, you have the Lily gave you the fucking t-shirt.
Whoa.
Oh fuck. I
Pretty
think she's
badass.
secret. Lily is my soulmate, and she's my sister. We were born on the same date, same year, same hour, in different parts of the world. I think she likes you, but not in a way
likes you
that
the best.
people. She likes you best. She's into K-pop. She likes younger guys. She likes boy bands. Like I need to introduce you to the world, to the world of fencing and Backstreet Boys. And
Yeah.
the funny fucking thing, and you go to China, everything that we listened to like 25 years ago, it's current now. Like you can, crazy.
My daughter's
But
into
yeah.
K-pop, so I know a little. I know enough to be dangerous.
I cannot like understand the K-pop frenzy because
It's all made
they're
on
the
AI.
most.
I'm sure of it.
It's made on AI, but they look like the guys from K-pop bands look better than their girls look. So it's really confusing. And you get into Asian countries. Oh,
Well, guys, my recommendation on this shirt is start by being nice to Lily, and she likes back rubs.
yeah. Next Blade Show, if you're nice to Lily, she might give you a free knife as well because she doesn't give a fuck if it's free, if it's that. I think Tom Jason has experience with getting like a free knife. Lily's not into selling everything that we have. She likes to
It's
give
true.
it.
She did gift me a knife. I'm very grateful to have it. It's very kind of her.
Yeah, he had like 3 knives stolen on the Blade Show table. So, but we didn't know what the procedure was when you get your things stolen. So, and there were no cameras, which is funny in that area where our table was. 0 cameras, 0 coverage. So I think for the 3 guys that got our prototypes, God bless you.
Set up an eBay alert in case they show up.
Yeah, too much work. Like it's too much. Like what? I'm going to chase like eBay listings for three Kunwu knives. Come on, too much work. Like you can spend your time way better than looking at eBay. But interestingly, only 3.
Every year there are some savages that steal things. It's pretty terrible.
Yeah, I've seen the guy that somebody in the Millie group posted somebody that looks like a crooked version of a troll. That is a pretty well-known scammer. We have those as well. Like when you're running a online selling like website that we do selling directly to customers, we have maybe up to 2% of knives lost due to scammers. So it's not an easy thing to catch.
Yeah, that guy
number.
actually confronted me after the show and claims that I'm accusing him of something that's not true. But boy, it's weird because there's like 3 or 4 accounts using his face and using his name that have stolen money from people, including people
maybe he's just beautiful, and everybody wants to look
crazy,
like him.
and he doesn't know what he's doing, and that he doesn't know that thievery is illegal. Hard telling. Yeah, the Uwu commands you all to monitor eBay. Get it back. Our hero here.
Even though, like, even the protos that they got, it's like a gimmick blade, so it's not a super steel one. So it's cheap Chinese shit. So
right.
Good luck with that.
That's right. Sergio, what else should we cover?
I think we covered everything for a maiden voyage on YouTube, so I think we did good. Like I have 0 idea what we talked about. Like my
Can you
memory.
believe we talked for an hour and 20 minutes?
I can. I really can. Maybe next time in a couple of years, or when you want to have me back, we can have some structure to this.
That's not going to happen. That's not.
I know. I have 0 structure as well. Like I go with the flow. So
I could write it all down, but we wouldn't follow it.
The structure of the show was we're going to interview Sergio, and let's not forget to do the giveaway. But let's do the giveaway. That was about So we got the giveaway. We've got to talk to you. So now it's just what ifs.
This is something we should cover before we go. So Christian is a good friend of mine, and
Fine.
he and I were texting the other day, and he mentioned the name origins of these knives. I shared that.
He wanted to have every single knife connected to the penis. Like, no. The names that we use are not connected to the penile elements in the like anatomy world. So,
what about the stiffy P?
stiff means hard, means something that's not malleable. So if he thinks that stiffy P means something that he thinks it means, it's up to him. I think stiff is a perfectly sane name. Like, it's a stiff. It's opposite from crooked, broken knife. It's
what
stiff.
about the Excalibur?
Excalibur sounds too knightly.
It was a sword.
It was a sword, certainly. It's stuck in a stone in England. It didn't exist ever.
It was a
so
sword.
It's a non-existent,
and it took
non-existent sword in a non-existent stone. So Excalibur is much easier to pronounce. Even if you go to China, if there is an R in anything, it's impossible for people of Chinese origin to pronounce it. So Excalibur is much nicer to pronounce.
You're making a lot of sense here. What about the fact that the clip has like a bulbous tip, and then down here it has...
That's all, like, you can find...
And a hole. Like, there's a hole right behind the balls, Tom.
Depends that...
You're everywhere. Your phallus is everywhere.
Listen, like, if you're getting aroused by the clip on a knife, then there's something wrong there.
Maybe we're getting.
And you can discover the reason of your sexual arousal based on a clip on a Kunwu knife if you join the Kunwu group. If it still continues to arouse you in a stance that you get aroused by a clip on a knife, then there'll be solutions to that.
We have a saying in America that if you're a hammer, after a while everything starts to look like a nail.
Exactly. Like, you can get excited.
Yeah.
If you're horny enough, everything can excite you. Like, we're we're simple creatures. Like, there's a hole that you need to fill in your life. Like, that's all it boils down to. Like, go out there, explore. If Padre clip excites you, if the clip excites you, then. But if the hole excites you, then again you need to discover why.
Okay.
Maybe you're not getting enough of the Padres.
Christian, I just don't think I'm hearing what you're hearing. This is all very rational and logical to me.
I've seen the messages from Christian Klein that he wanted to like find any logic in naming of Kunwu knives, but it's mostly like me going through memes.
So like, it's driven by passion.
If I find a meme interesting, then it's going to go on a knife. Like, most of the people in China that want to name a knife, if it's not a designer knife, like designers already have the name, it needs to sound epical. They go through the books of like ancient Greek god mythology and like, hey, look, Kratos, god of war, sounds good. Put it on a knife. Then you have all these bestiality of names that have this potency of hidden agenda behind them. Then you have Greek pantheon, Scandinavian pantheon. Nobody discovered Slavic pantheon yet, but quite good. And then Norse mythology, and everybody's up to there. I found like a Chad meme really appealing, and that's why the Chad has the Chad name. Pulsar was a mistake. Like, that knife needs a better name. And everything else was just like, hey, Sergio, what's
dangle in America? So dangling Chad.
So like, you need to have your finger on the pulse of popular culture, and then you're good with the knife names. There are so many names that you can like. You can name a knife Jerry. Like, who gives a fuck what the knife name is? Like, Tom, knife name Tom. And it gets personal. Like, if you name a knife Zeus, then you're distancing your knife from the audience. Like, oh, look,
there's a Tom knife.
Tom,
perfect knife, perfection. So it's all the names are light-hearted. I wanted to have more PG-13 names, but it's like here's the thing: when we started shipping Stiffy P's, a lot of the knives got stuck in the customs because people thought
Stiffy
that work
was stuck, Tom.
people that work on the customs thought that Stiffy Peas actually were sex toys. So we got inquiries what Stiffy Peas are, and then when all cleared up, like Stiffy Peas, no issue. But Stiffy Pea does sound a bit sexual, but it's not. It's stiff pulsar, rigid, morbid pulsar. Christian Klein really needs to
turgid myself. I would go with turgid.
Yeah, or whatever. Like,
yeah,
it's not that. Maybe it is.
Can we name one Sal?
Ooh.
Yeah, you can name a knife like Abraham, biblical.
Yeah.
So I'd heard this. Speaking of holes and being attracted to them, have you ever inquired or heard about what it takes to get an actual round hole in one of your blades?
You cannot do that. That's protected with like chastity belt. There is no way to go around that. Even certain names, like I wanted to name a knife Diablo, whatever. Benchmade has that covered as well. So certain things, when it comes to patents, you can do, but when it comes to intellectual property protection, like that's a distinctive thing of Spyderco, you cannot go there. So you have brands like Dagger knives that have a skull-shaped thing. You can have any other shape except for the round hole. Maybe when it comes to custom knife makers, they can get away with it because it's one-off, or if somebody's modifying it, like I'm certain
really small guys can license it.
Yeah. You can, but when it comes to production company, there is no way. This is really distinctive thing,
right?
Ingenious, but really distinctive. You cannot go there. Like it's a good thing. I wanted to do it, but there is no way to.
I think that's one of my most frustrating things about the knife industry in general. Like I wish, like I understand this is their trademark, this is their identity.
Yeah.
It's such a good way to open a knife. I wish it was.
I know, but I have an issue with that statement. For example, like every time that there is a certain novelty in the knife industry, you see a bunch of people saying, "Oh, I wish other companies take notice and do the same thing." And what bugs me in that sentence is, "I wish other companies," because if somebody has something distinctive, it would be detrimental for everybody else to copy it because there is no distinctiveness left. And if you look at comments of people, anything that appears that's better than the things that you have existing in other companies, it's really bad. It's not even complimentary for the company that makes it, for you to wish that other companies start replicating it. It's then the company that originated that design or ingenious idea, like putting a simple hole through a blade. If everybody else started using the same idea, same principle, then there is no distinctiveness in that. There is no recognition. There is no this and that. That's one of the reasons why we didn't straight copy the compression lock. There's nothing there. Like I wish. The worst thing I hear, like when I sometimes I look at the YouTube reviews, and then I see enthusiastic guy in the comments like, "Oh, this is so good!" Like especially in Brian Winter's videos. "Oh, this is so good. Other companies should take notice and do the exact same thing." And that sounds good for you as a user, but as a company, that's fucking the worst thing you can say. Like that's, "Oh, look, you have a hot like Vietnamese wife. I wish everybody in the United States had a good-looking Vietnamese wife." Then
I highly approve of that statement.
Like it's not a good thing. If everybody started doing the same thing as like I do, because I'm a Spyderco collector, I started experimenting. I've everything I've learned through Spyderco, through forums, through this and that, and I did start using different steels. But if you notice, I am not using anything other than Bowler.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference there. I want to start using Zap, like Z-Wear, Z12, Z-Max, whatever. There's a differentiating factor there. And getting back to Brian Winters, every time that he puts something out, "Oh, I wish somebody was more innovative and took this approach and blah blah blah," and then you lose that sparkle that makes that brand special. Like I don't think I have any limits in saying this, but You remember Snacks? Huge fucking guy. Like I admire him, his technicality. His super lock is an awesome thing, incredible. But then he put that super lock that he used to use on his customs that cost $20-something thousand on Lottos, and he put it in a fucking CVV. There is no more like exclusivity to that thing. There is no more reason for you to go into buying that super lock, that system for $20K on a Lotto because you have it in a CVV. There are certain things that you do not do, like especially when it comes. I wish that more companies start doing that. If everybody started doing the same thing, there would be no reason to collect different brands. Like chasing quality is a different thing. Like chasing appropriate heat treatments. Okay, everybody benefits from that. You cannot put an IP on good heat treatment. Everybody can do it, more or less. Takes an effort because good heat treatment takes a lot of effort. Everybody could do it. And what you said on Blade Show, like it's not Tom, it's not sorry, Jason, it's not that knives are built by the standard of hitting a right price point. Most of the things in human nature depend on how lazy you are. So it's not that they have placed a certain amount, like I'm gonna build a knife for $200 and this is how I will achieve that price point. No. They can still hit a good heat treatment with that price point. It's the laziness and it's the lack of will to explore.
There's like, a contempt for the consumer too, where they say, well,
there's that, but the thing is, like, there's a lot of contempt for the consumer. But if you remember, like, when Japanese knives were a thing in the US in the 80s, that's the whole thing. Japanese companies lowered the HRC and of the blades because too many blades were chipped. Too many blades were destroyed by the different ethos of using knives. Like Japanese, they slice a piece of tuna, they wipe it off, they put it away. Like it's everything is a process. Everything is they have their own order of doing things. In America, you get like 69 HRC knife, motherfucker's going to stab it in the tree. So there's also the response from the community that you need to take into consideration when you're building these crazy edges and crazy knives. So there's a balance there. Most of people that I work with now, we are in sync. Everybody knows what they're doing. But if you look at, it's not ego trip. If you look at different companies, they do not care if they make a knife or they make a fucking refrigerator. If it sells, it sells.
Right.
So it's not based on products. It's based on what sells. And nothing is absolutely built to spec or built to something that's like important. In our case, the importance lies in the edge. Like our dude said, edge is a ghost. Nobody fucking knows what that means here, where I'm at. So there's a cultural difference, there's a difference in approach of the products, and there's a fact that not every company has a fucking guy that spends an entire fortune instead of finishing his own fucking house on knives. So there's that. So it's not built to spec. It's not that people are trying to put a certain product in a certain price point. It's that they're lazy. They're not invested into this. So there's that. There's like people that buy knives, not a huge group. People that are invested in knives. Fucking like Sentinel Island, small amount of people, like 5,000 people max worldwide, no more. And we want to cater to those guys as well.
Yeah,
we are so bloody small as a community. The ones invested into knives. It's if I had like any idea how not difficult how consuming this is, I'd still do it. But it's not as vast as people think. You say Brian Titt. I already know who that guy is. Like it's that small. We are that small. Like,
well, think of it this way: like
across the globe,
we're all out in public, and we all walk around. And I guarantee every person that's really into knives looks at every person's pocket to see if they have a pocket
Absolutely.
clip. They notice it. And
you see a pocket
clip, you're going to try to figure out what knife it is, and you're probably going to start a conversation because it doesn't happen that often.
No, it's like I've been traveling for the last, I don't know how many years, and the last couple of years, if I spot a guy, that's maybe 1 in 25, 30, 100,000 people. It's so rare that if you see a clip, you're looking at the other person's pants. So like, it's not, I'm not checking you out. I'm looking at your clip. Like, how's that?
I worked at a construction company in Portland. There's a lot of knives made in Portland. People actually like knives here. And still here, I walk around and like I'd see a clip, and usually I have to like temper my like, I don't want to start this conversation. I don't want to have to lie to this guy and say he has an awesome knife and he pulls out a gas station knife or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's specific, especially for the United States. The United States has certain freedoms of carrying firearms, knives. In Europe, you don't get to carry anything. Like, I carry my things, but I live in a small town, so I know the police. If anybody stops me, I'm okay. But in major European cities, try doing that in UK. Like, try pulling anything. Like, it's hypersensitive. So the community here is like
secretive.
Not secretive. It's non-existent. Maybe it exists on like maybe 15 people in Berlin, 100 people in United Kingdom, etc. Everybody lives online nowadays. In United States, it's a different story. But even there, it's scarce. Like, it's not that present. It's not. We are not that.
I think
powerful.
It's cultural. It's cultural. If you're in the right communities, then it's prevalent, and if you're in the wrong communities, then it's scarce. So
yeah.
New York City has a very small knife community. It's not part of the culture in that city. But in Texas, you're going to find most people have a pocket knife.
Yeah. Or in Idaho or whatever. So most of Colorado, Idaho, most of the like makers worldwide are catering to the United States. That's the soil you want to conquer.
Right.
It's insane. Even the countries that have a good culture of knife making, like Northern Europe, there's no culture of carrying knife in public, and that needs to change. But it won't change anytime soon, or at all. So
not without some revolution.
Too late for that. Too late for that. China has a good community of. That's what people don't realize. And we sell our knives in China as well. There are huge forums. They still operate on base of forums where people buy a lot of shit. Like, the biggest knife collectors in the world live in Beijing, and people that have the scariest thing, like, known to man. People that buy $50,000 pocket knives, Beijing. Benchmade community in China, huge. Imagine that.
I'm not too surprised.
It's 1.5 billion people, so
yes,
it's
a status symbol lifestyle brand, so it would be very appealing.
Yeah, more so. Okay, guys, we covered like 2 hours of talking.
We did. We covered a lot of fuckery here.
I think we did good. I hope people were pleased with my appearance on the interwebs.
Be a big hit.
People were excited. There was a lot of buzz about this. A lot of excitement. Before we go, is there anything that people need to be aware that's dropping anytime soon, or are you good?
No. I really want to apologize for people that are constantly pre-ordering on Kunwu. That's not the way we want to operate things, but there is a constant buzz about anything new that comes out. So we're keeping it low-key. It's much more manageable like that. If we do drops, if we announce things, then it becomes overburdening, not just for me, but for the production department and everything else. So when Verta locks hit, you have Gringo on the Kunwu crew. Take it easy. It takes some time. So there's no need to hype anything up or have any special sales or any announcements. People that are into Kunwu know how we operate. So it's on the Kunwu crew, you can get it. No special announcements, because we had to stop due to situation when tariffs and stuff. We had a whole month where we had to stop the production, not knowing how this will pan out. We found a loophole that eliminates any cost to customer due to tariffs. So we are operating on that basis. Took us a month to figure that out. So there's a slight delay in plans that we had for this year due to unforeseen circumstances. So that's one of the battles we had to conquer this year. Everything else, I'm not big on announcing. I'm not big on hyping things out. Every model that we have is going to be current for a number of years if things are favorable worldwide. If nobody wants to start another world war or whatnot. So there's no need to rush. There's no need to jump on anything new that's going to come out. Like we are pushing, like Padre lives for 4 years. Everything else will live for 4 years or more. The shelf life of our models is not limited by anything. So if there is a limited model or limited variation of model, I will announce it, but it will never be a sales hype of any kind. Or so people that are in the group, people that are loyal customers, they will get notified first, as always. So there is no need for anything. Verta lock is coming out in Gringo first, then in Geronimo. That's September. It will be available in decent numbers, so the people that miss out on the first batch will have the opportunity to get a second batch month or two after the first. So that's it. There's no need to hype anything or no need to get the FOMO, at least for this year. When it gets to the Giga Padres or Giga models, then even that is not limited in the amount, but it's limited in the amount of time that it takes us to make a single variation of that thing. But if there's a desperate need for you to have anything Giga, then we will tell you the timeline when the next batch is available and the way that you can buy it. So there's really no need to announce anything special apart from the lock, which will become a standard and throughout the range of models that we have. That's it. And most models in next 3 to 4 years will have the V2s, upgrades, different steels, and that's the whole thing. Nothing revolutionary in the sense of coming out with new models, just reworking what we have been working for the last 5 years. So that's the thing that we want to implement down the line.
Sounds great.
That's pretty much it. So I wouldn't fret on any exclusivity at this time.
Well, everybody go to kunwuknives.com. You can see it there. You can join the Facebook group. And I
need to update the website with the links to Kunwu Crew. The people that want to see the Verta lock and want to pre-order it, they need to go on the kunwukcrew.com, because I'm too lazy. I've been promising to update the website for last 2 weeks, but life happened and I didn't do it. So I need to do it tomorrow. So they will have a direct link from Kunwu Knives to Kunwu Crew. So they will have they won't have to like type in the the entire web address into the fucking thing. So yeah, it's really no need to worry about anything. Maybe.
Sergio, thank you very much for being here. I'm glad we could talk. I'm glad we could catch up with you. It's been fun to talk.
We talked a lot. I don't know what topics we covered or if I made any sense. People tell me that I sound like a mixture of KGB agent and like a Dutch DJ. So I apologize for my accent and my gold tooth, but I think the most of the...
I'm jealous. I want a gold tooth.
Hey, it's a good thing, because when I had some issues with my gums. When I have titanium, I have zirconium, and I have gold tooth. When I placed the gold tooth in front, all the issues I had with my gums disappeared. So there's like something there. Maybe it's because it's antibacterial or whatever, but I resolved most of my issues with the gold tooth. It's not just a gypsy thing. It's it's actually medical. So yeah, everybody that wants to join the Kunwu group, they can join. If they want more information about the brand or whatever, they can join there. They can ask me directly. When I have time, I will answer. That's pretty much it. I had a great time talking to you people. Let's do it again.
Absolutely.
Anytime. Thank you very much, Sergio. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week. And actually, Tom, what's our next show? We're Tuesday night.
Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific. So
Tuesday
7
4 Pacific, that would be 7 Eastern. We're going to be talking to Casey Lynch. We're going to be talking about all things Casey Lynch. So definitely tune in. Should be a great show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Join us.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace out.